I got my man Omar Epps as a special guest host, so you know it's going to be crazy today. Yes, sir. I'm your host, William Cooksey, and today we have a special episode. Not only are we interviewing players, we got my man, one of the greatest actors that we've all known, Mr. Omar Epps, as a guest host. We had an opportunity to interview Micah Parsons, Zack Martin, and the Cowboys beat writer Clarence Hill. So we look forward to you enjoying this episode. But I want to welcome my man, Mr. Omar Epps.
Cowboys training camp 2024, we here. Ha!
So today on our Candid Dialogue podcast, we got a special guest, one of the best offensive linemen, not just in the NFL today, but I'll say ever, Mr. Zack Martin. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, appreciate you sitting down with us real quick. You just got done with practice, so I know you're ready to go, cool off and everything, so we just got a couple quick questions. My first question is, what are you looking for most about this season?
Honestly, just to get started, right? Like when you end a season kind of like we did last year, the whole off season's all talk. So, and then you get to training camp and it's the same deal. So, really, just to get this thing rolling, honestly.
Right. Mm-hmm. And this is year what?
This is year 11.
Year 11. Ooh, so the offensive line has changed tremendously since you started 11 years ago. What are you excited about this group?
Yeah, I'm super excited for our young guys. I mean, we got some really talented young guys. Obviously, Tyler Smith had a huge year last year in his second year. I expect him to take another big jump and really be a force. And then we drafted a bunch of guys, 3 guys that have really come out here and done a nice job and that are definitely going to need to help us at some point this year. Yeah,
man, we looking forward to it. You got to keep number 4 upright so he can throw the ball. Yeah. And you know what's so crazy is your job is a very important job, because if y'all don't block, the runners can't run, Zeke can't run, Dak can't throw, the receivers can't catch the ball. So when you look at the importance that you have on your responsibility, how does that make you lock in from game to game?
Yeah, I think we've got great pride in our room knowing, obviously we're not going to be in the stat sheet, right? But, the great thing with Coach McCarthy and this building is, everyone on our offense, our team, understands the importance of what we do up front, and that, we can't make anything else go unless we're on our stuff up front. So we take great pride in that, and excited to get going to kind of show the world what we can do.
Wow, man, that's
I was going to ask one quick question to follow up on that. There's a lot of noise that surrounds the organization, the Cowboys. What's the energy like, though, this coming into this season? Whatever happened, the past is the past, right?
Yep.
But, what's the energy feel like? What gets you sort of going, like passionate about, I think something could work here?
Yeah, I think not only do we have great guys returning and know what those guys are capable of and what they can do. But, some of the new guys where you're like, hey, this guy fits this piece that can help us. I can speak on my room individually. Obviously we lost an all-time great in Tyron Smith. Went out and drafted a guy like Tyler Guyton who has, really impressed in these first few weeks and in the offseason, just how he moves. And so guys like that excite me to see what they can do and how they can help this team.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, man, we know, like I said, you just got done with practice. We appreciate you stopping by. Look forward for you another good season. Pro Bowl season, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Future Hall of Famer.
Future Hall of Famer. No, first ballot. First one. We ain't doing nothing else but Hall of Fame.
There we go.
Man, good seeing you, brother.
Man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah. Nice meeting you, man.
Nice to meet you.
So we just had a great conversation with Zack Martin. Now we got another conversation set up for you. As you can see, we got my personal favorite defensive lineman or linebacker in the NFL, Mr. Micah Parsons, on the set with us today.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, my brother. How you doing?
Hey, I'm blessed.
So my first question is this. You play Madden?
Yes.
When the ratings came out and you wasn't 99, what did you think?
We got more work to do.
Got more
work to do.
Because I seen a lot of people was unhappy with their ratings and they felt like, man, it could have been a little bit different. So what did you think about that?
Honestly, a 98 is special. I don't wanna, especially so early in my career.
Yeah.
And the success I had, so I'm not really too mad about that. It's limited 99s. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
Aaron Donald was one for a while. And there's no other 99 in the position. It's like 3 98s.
Okay.
So it's just like, who's going to edge out early to get that other 99?
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that.
No, I like that. That's a competitor's attitude. Like, okay, you ain't going to give it to me. I'm going to go and take it.
Yeah, so they basically said, one of y'all going to get it, who going to get it? So I guess it's up to me.
Yeah. So what fuels you to have that type of drive? I mean, we've seen it early on when you came in the game. It was clear you was different, not just from a talent standpoint, but from a mental standpoint. So what fuels you to think like that?
Man, I really just try to train my mind every day. And, to me, I just really hate to lose, and I love to win. And that's just in life, bro. Like, there's nothing like winning in life and being successful. And I think when you get a taste of it, and usually you see people or cats where like they get somewhere and they're like, I made it. And that's good enough for some people. But usually when I get something, I want more.
I know that's right.
That kind of drives me. Like, I want more. Like, oh, I got this, so I can get this now. That kind of motivates me, and my family. And I also got that fear of failure of not being what I'm fully capable to be. That's probably like my last part. Like, we don't know what we fully capable except God. So I really just try to keep going, try to max everything out. So that way when I'm done, I'm like, I did it all. Yeah, I don't got no regrets.
Yeah. But to that end, I was going to ask you a question. Like, what is legacy itself? What does that look like to you?
Man, legacy is something that it carries a lot of weight to me, because you look at, the greatest players. LT still talked about. Like, think about it, like, man, LT is 25 years apart, and they still looking back and trying to compare me to LT. Like, think about how many people they actually doing that for.
Right.
Like, the comparison, the legacy, your imprint on the game, like, being different, like, that's what legacy looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, think that Anthony Edwards, 30 years later, they trying to say that's baby MJ. You know what I'm saying? That's legacy. Like, think about all the good legends that people like, oh, like, he was very good in the league, but we seen that before. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of people like that. That's why Steph Curry's a legend. Like, you're always going to say, oh, he shoot like Steph Curry, or he has that consistency like Steph because he made that imprint. That's his legacy of the greatest shooter ever. So to me, it's like, it's a good thing to get that comparison, because that means like you different.
Yeah.
That's what the legacy stand for, holding weight through generations. MJ gonna be talked about for like a life for life. Like, I don't even think he'll ever fall off. Right. Like, kids 50 years from now still gonna be wearing Jordans, still gonna look up why are we wearing Jordans and see his highlights. Like, that's what that is.
That's dope. By then they'll have a 5-point line instead of a 3-point line.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So this season's coming up. I know you're excited. What does success look like for you for the season? Of course, we know it's a Super Bowl, but what else personally and for the team?
Yeah, honestly, I saw Baltimore last year get that triple crown on defense. That's points per game, yards, and turnovers. And I think, we could be fully capable of being the number one defense. And then, I would say, just for me, I want to be the best player in the NFL. I want to be an MVP caliber talent player. I don't want to set myself short and just defensive player of the year or nothing like that. I want to be the best player in the NFL.
That's an incredible answer, because your work ethic and your play on the field shows that. It shows that you are aiming to be better than good, and even better than great. You want to be great amongst the greats. Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Does that rub off to your other teammates? Can you see that?
Nah, I can't even lie to you.
Okay.
I can't even lie to you.
Yeah.
Some people, see, what I realized in this business, and, from players that came through here, you kind of either got the mindset or you don't, right? I could sit here and be a perfect example of what a great football player could look like, but that person has to want to be a great football player. That person got to have that same want and drive to excel, to be great, to do all those things. And, even in your life, whether it's acting, on set, some people got all the time in the world, or the capabilities, but they can't put it together.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it. And that's why, some people are just special in their career.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you, dog. Like I said, we looking forward to the season. We know you're going to have a good one.
Great season.
Hope all the success to you, MVPs, everything. We're going to be there cheering you on.
Yep.
So
We're going to be going crazy on the sidelines.
Yeah, appreciate you, big dog. Thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah.
See you soon, boss.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Love.
All right.
Next on the Candid Dialogue Show, we want to introduce the Cowboys' best writer, Mr. Clarence Hill.
How you doing, man?
Man, we doing good, brother. How you doing?
I'm well. I won't say best. I would say the longest tenured writer
Okay.
who been covering the team since 1997.
Wow.
Longest consecutively tenured writer.
Really?
Number one insider.
Okay.
Okay.
We can leave best to whoever want to do that.
Yeah.
I like that.
But you got the accomplishments, though.
I'm here.
Yeah, I know that's right.
With that tenure, with that said, with your
Yes.
tenure, what's the energy feel like to you from your purview coming into this season? Do you notice any? I mean, outside of the regular noise, do you see any, things that stick out to you in terms of the potential for this season?
Well, you talking about in the team or within the team or outside? Because I would say that the fan base
inside the team.
Yeah, because the fan base to me is more disillusioned than ever. Frustrated and disillusioned over 28 years, and I know we got to deal with that. But the fan base is more disillusioned, more frustrated than ever because of all the 28 years. And it's funny because I say that, and since I started to cover the team, we got 4 playoff wins. But it ain't my fault.
Right.
I'm not the bad omen. My daughter's a gymnastics state champion. I raised champions.
Okay.
I got
All
another
right.
daughter's an NAACP Image Award winner. So I raised, it ain't me.
Okay.
But so there's a frustration among the fan base, though, of the recent playoff failures, and it's piggybacking on the 28 years since they last been to the Super Bowl, even been to the NFC Championship game. But within the team, it's funny because I was just thinking about this to myself, and there's so much riding on this season. You got more than 30 players who are in the last year of their deals, including Dak and CD. You got the entire coaching staff within the last year of their deals. With so much is riding on. I call it a season on the brink because there's no future beyond this year for a lot of people. But coming into camp, and I was just talking to somebody else the other day, Mike McCarthy does not look like he's feeling pressure. He's enjoying camp. He is coaching these guys. You look at Dak Prescott and everything is riding. So much is talked about him. He's enjoying his family. He enjoys us. It doesn't feel like the weight of the world is on them. So when you talk about the camp and you look at CD's not here, these receivers are making plays. There's some excitement with Zimmer and this defense.
Okay.
Even though outside this gray cloud is hanging over everybody, that's not how camp is being approached. And they, once they get, it's about football.
Yep.
And so that's all it's been about is football. And again, to go back to Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott, 2 guys who've had the most pressure of anybody out here. They're loosey-goosey. I mean, Mike is joking with us. He doesn't feel like a guy that's, my job is on the line.
Right.
Do you think that Coach McCarthy and Dak's mentality, the loosey-goosey, is rubbing off on everybody else?
Well, it's about leadership. I mean, and Jerry Jones has said it. Now, Jerry Jones has been a part of the 3 Super Bowl champion Cowboys. He said Dak is the best leader he's ever been around.
Sure did. Yeah.
That includes Troy Aikman.
Yep.
Okay.
That includes Micah Irvin.
And you think that's both on and off the field?
Oh, most definitely on the
Okay.
off field. And that's what we're talking about. He's really talking about off the field and how he carries himself and how he does things. Dak is, yes, he got the contract. Everybody's talking about that. He's got other off the field stuff. He has been undeterred in his focus in being a team guy and how he's leading his team. And so, and the same thing with Mike. Mike's, talking to the coaches, and I talked to the coaches. Yes, I know y'all mad about 1-year deals. We talked about that in the offseason. We dealt with that in the offseason. We dealt with guys individually. But now it's football. Let's focus on football.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think that the leadership of Dak and McCarthy and how they're handling this thing
It's permeating down.
permeated to the rest of the team.
Okay.
For sure.
So for a fan like myself and a lot
I'm
of
not
other
saying they're
fans-
going to win.
No.
Nobody can. We don't know that.
It's, I think they'll get to the playoffs. Then it's, pot luck as we've seen the last 3 years.
Okay. And see,
You
that
never
was
know
going
what
to be
you're
my
gonna get.
question. Yeah, because as a fan, we've seen this before. You know, we come to training camp, we see the nice plays and everything. We get to the season. So, as an insider, what would be your suggestion to a fan when it comes to the expectations that they have for this year?
You know what? Be a fan.
I like that.
Be
I
a
like
fan.
that.
Root for
Yeah,
your
I like
team.
that. Yeah.
You know, that's
Right.
what they first. And I think people got mad at Dak, and he like you got to turn the page. You can't still be
Yeah.
talking about Green Bay.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, move on. Be a fan. You
Right.
know, I tweeted the other day and people got mad, but the Browns ain't won since Jim Brown. The dog pound is still the dog pound.
That's true. That's
Okay.
true.
That
That's
is true.
Between Bart Starr and Brett Favre, the Packers never won nothing.
Yeah.
Cheeseheads were still cheeseheads.
Yeah.
The
Proudly.
Chicago Cubs have never won anything ever.
Yeah.
They're diehard Cub fans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As a fan, be a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, you frustrated with the, whatever the business of the game, but when it's time to play football, be a fan. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a Texas Longhorn guy. Okay, I love the Texas Longhorns, and we had some hard times. And there's some times when I didn't pay attention as much, but when the game was on,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there watching my team, and I'm rooting for my team. I'm never not rooting for my team. Never not rooting for players and get rid of this guy and all this other stuff. I don't get that. Support your quarterback. I hate fans that want to trade Dak and get rid of Micah. There's so much craziness in the offseason. These are your best players. Support your guy. You know, I argued with a guy who was in Houston last week, moving my daughter into college, and a guy from Houston was like, well, Dak and the Cowboys mediocre. How is 12-5, 12-5, and 12-5 mediocre?
Right.
Now, you haven't won in the playoffs,
Right.
but
Yeah.
that ain't mediocre.
Let me ask you this. Do you think a part of what you see, how the fans react, do you think that's birthed from social media and
no
like
doubt.
people feeling like they know the players more and they,
It's birthed from the Stephen A. stuff, the First Take stuff, the Shannon Sharp stuff, because that's what fans consume. And they hear it over and over again. The Cowboys suck. The Cowboys suck. Cowboys going to choke in the playoffs. Cowboys are this. And so, yeah, that's part of it, for sure.
Okay.
It's also 28 years of frustration.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's all mixed together. It's all part of that gumbo.
Right.
You know, that has created this situation.
Right.
But, yeah, I think the the thing about it is Jerry loves it.
Exactly. That's what I was just thinking because
You know.
as long as you keep talking.
Yes, he loves it. He starts some of it. People don't understand. I go back to 2016. Dak is 13-3, winning streak. Jason Garrett said Dak is our quarterback. Period. Game 15-16. Jerry's in the locker room talking to the media. Oh, I dream of a day when Tony Romo's going to lead us to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Is that the environment you want your rookie quarterback to be listening to? But he also knows that once he says that, that's on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
That's on all these shows. People are talking about that. You're creating this controversy where there really is none, but outside it is. But that's the controversy. So he loves keeping the Cowboy, keep you talking about the Cowboys. So he loves that.
Okay, follow-up question. In that type of scenario, is it the type of thing where he may give a Dak, heads up, I'm going to say a little something, or he just says it and the player experiences it like we do, and does it affect them?
Well, no, he don't give you no heads up.
Okay. Okay.
Mike McCarthy learned that firsthand when all the Sean Payton stuff and turning to Bill Belichick. He don't give you no heads up. We just talk. But you got to understand, it comes with the dinner.
Gotcha.
You know, and that's part of it here with Jerry. But yeah, he loves Dak, supports Dak, wants to sign Dak to a contract. Got to be the right number. But yeah, that's just part of it. But he loves you talking about it, and he doesn't have a problem with the current conversations regarding the contracts.
Okay, so you've been with the team for a long time. What we don't see in the media, and this is again from your perspective, in terms of Jerry Jones, the man, the human being. I tell people all the time, it's not what you see on TV. A lot of this stuff is just to get you to look, but the dude is a genuinely good dude and has done a lot for a lot of people inside the organization. From your perspective, what's your take on that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, you want to have a beer with somebody, you want to have a beer with Jerry Jones.
Okay.
So yeah, and he's done a lot for a lot of different people. Now we can discuss some of the other stuff
Right.
that has happened, and I've been against him and his stance on the national anthem and some things like that. We can discuss all of that, but he's generally been a good person and good people. He's good to his team and is good to his players, which is why they all ride for him.
Right. Right.
The new
There you
players and the old players.
Oh,
So when
definitely.
you talk to the older players, they all say the same thing, and that's a conversation that we've always had. And I want to ask you this about Dak before I forget. He threw a pass today that I would say Mahomes, maybe 4 or 5 other quarterbacks could throw it. The wide receiver dropped it. That's not Dak's fault. But we all know Dak is trash. So do you think that he is unfairly criticized for the most part?
For a guy that's gotten better every year, for a guy that's coming off finishing second in NFL MVP, for a guy that led the league in interceptions one year and now led the league in touchdown passes, and we can all go back to the year he led the league in interceptions. Noah Brown against Jacksonville, ball's right here. He drops it, he goes back for a touchdown, but that's one of Dak's interceptions. Yeah, he gets unfairly criticized.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the game, and we can talk all day about how high he goes up in the list. I don't think there's a quarterback in the NFC that's better than Dak Prescott and has a better resume than Dak Prescott. And
You hear that, Philly? Hey, Philly, where you at? You hear that?
No, I mean, listen, I love Jalen Hurts. You know, he's a
Me too.
Texas kid.
Yeah.
He's an Omega.
Mhm.
You know, I love that.
But
His resume is not Dak
Yeah,
Prescott.
it's not
There
Dak.
you
You
have
can't
it.
do what Dak do. Neither can
It's-
Daniel
it's-
Jones.
It's not, no, Daniel, that ain't even a conversation. You bring Daniel Jones?
That's what I'm saying. We
Come
not.
on, that ain't
Hey,
even a conversation. Not Brock Purdy.
Hey, Daniel Jones
Not-
is sitting there
not-
like 50. 50 cents. Why he say? You know, I'm
Not
no,
Matt
yeah,
Stafford,
yeah.
not Jared Goff. I mean, they're all good quarterbacks.
you said not Brock Purdy. That's interesting. No, I'm just.
I said the resume. I'm
Yeah.
talking about
Okay,
the-
okay.
I mean, he's done great, and more power to him. But he's not. They're not counting on him to be their best player and win games.
So my last question would be, how do you feel about Zeke's return and
You know,
the effect that seems to have had, especially the synergy between him and Dak? Like, what have you seen anything promising?
I mean, they're best friends. I mean, they've been best friends. They were best friends when he wasn't here.
Okay.
That ain't changing.
Okay.
That's my dog.
Okay.
Okay. That's not changed. They're close. Their families are close. That doesn't change. I think the perception of Zeke has changed. And rightfully so. He's not two-time NFL rushing champion Zeke anymore. He's not going to be given 300 carries anymore. He's going to be part of a committee here in Dallas, but Zeke can be productive. They really missed Zeke last year,
Yeah.
especially when it came to red zone touchdowns and goal line touchdowns. They look at their rushing
Pass
touchdowns.
blocking.
But look at their rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, Zeke scored in that bad 2022. He had 12 rushing touchdowns. You go back to that Miami game when Tony Pollard couldn't get in, when it looked like he had number daylight, and then the fullback fumbled the ball on the next play. That was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
Zeke scores.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. I
Right.
agree with that.
Zeke scores. So they missed him last year. Just certainly don't expect two-time world champ Zeke, but Zeke is a good teammate.
Yeah.
He doesn't get enough credit for being a good teammate, unselfish player. He's going to be part of a committee. It's another guy on a one-year deal. He says he has unfinished business. He wanted to be back here and trying to prove something. So there's some motivation there. But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad move.
Right.
Now, there are a lot of people, should they have gotten King Henry? That's a different conversation.
Right.
They didn't want to pay $8 million, whatever it cost to get him.
Right.
But from what they're doing, it's a good move.
Okay. All right.
I'm not saying, again, my issue with the running game right now is how they're going to look between the 20s. There's not a big playback. That's what you miss from Pollard.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have the big play in the backfield right now, but you got some solid backs. I think the offensive line blocking up front can be better than it was last year,
Yeah.
which could help them have a productive running game. But yeah, they need some big play.
Okay.
Well, listen, brother, we appreciate you for coming on. We appreciate your insight.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to running to you again.
Yep. We're gonna do it again in the season. We're gonna come to some
I'm
games.
I'm just asking. What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Yeah. And we all loving basketball.
Oh, you mean that I've done?
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet.
You haven't done it yet.
Haven't done it yet.
Mm.
So we'll see. Next 10 years, it'll get done, but I haven't done it yet. But there's nothing like the first. I will say that.
What was the first?
My first film was called Juice.
I remember. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's just,
Yes.
getting a chance. That was my first chance to.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
For the young folks.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, old folks now, but not the young folks.
Yeah.
You know,
The younger generation.
that was
They
classic.
can go watch it.
Yeah, they need to go watch Juice.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
awesome, man. Love the
man.
program. Love,
Thank you, man.
things like that. But
Thank you, brother.
again, Mike Tomlin.
Well,
separated at birth.
Allegedly, we got to take a picture to debunk this rumor, and it's so. The universe is serendipitous because, Cowboys. I was growing up. I'm a New Yorker. That's my favorite team. One of my cousins, his favorite team was the Steelers. So I have a deep-rooted, disdain
Right.
for that team. Just part of my childhood trauma, if you will.
It was.
And then of all people to have a doppelganger, it's got to be their head coach. So, I guess the universe has the last laugh at me. So, but hopefully we get another chip.
How did you be a Cowboys fan in New York? How did you?
Because when I was a kid, Tony Dorsett was just my favorite player. Watching football, I just loved his style, and he was a Dallas Cowboys. So I, started watching from there, and all the New York teams sucked. So I wasn't gonna do that, and then I like being different. So everybody was like, "Man, you a Cowboys fan?" I was like, "Yeah." I was a little kid, and then we went on that run in the '90s, and I was like, "Yeah." And since then, it's just been like, "Yeah."
And it's crazy you asked him that question. We had that conversation last night. We was having a conversation with Derek earlier. How do you explain the Cowboys phenomenon? I think that's a story that needs to be told. Kid from New York, kid from Indiana. You think about all the other people, like they mentioned Denzel Washington. He's from New York, major Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
How did that phenomenon start? And how did it transcend the Patriots run, 7 Super Bowls, the Chiefs run, but the Cowboys still the top team in the NFL?
Marketing, and it starts with Tex Schramm.
Yep.
Tex Schramm started it all, and Jerry Jones took it to the next level. But Tex Schramm, the cheerleader, the Cowboys cheerleaders, and everything else. But they marketed. When they started, it was Jerry Jones made a point to have the Cowboys. Not Jerry Jones, excuse me. Tex Schramm made a point to have the Cowboys in the NFC East.
NFC, right?
So they would be in New York. They would play the New York team. They'd be in the New York market. And then when the Cowboys were started, there was no team. There was no team in Arizona. So he owned Texas, Louisiana, Arizona, all those teams. They were all Cowboy fans.
Also, that Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving game was part of that conversation. Mm-hmm. So, marketing. And
Yeah.
Jerry's carried it on.
It's carried
There
it
you have
on.
it.
Well, again,
And
we're
winning.
And winning.
And winning.
But
Winning
marketing
heals
and winning,
everything.
Yes.
Well, again, we appreciate you, brother, man. Thanks for coming out.
Yes,
And we'll
sir.
see you soon in Cowboy Land.
No problem, man. Thank you, guys.
Awesome, man. Thank you, brother.
No problem, man.
Appreciate
Take care,
it.
bro. All right, man.
All right.
So, you've been a Cowboys fan for your whole life.
Yep.
We've been through a lot.
Yeah.
So, what is your expectations for this season?
Expectation, that's a heavy word. I don't necessarily have expectation more than I have anticipation.
Okay.
We got some, in terms of our offense, we got some new pieces on our O-line that I'm interested to see how that works. And obviously we got a future Hall of Fame still there. Zeke is back, which I think is going to bode well in terms of tangibles and intangibles with Dak and the receiving core. I think our receiving core is strong. Cooks is back around, and our DBs. It's interesting. Diggs is back.
Yep.
Obviously, Micah, never seen Lawrence. I'm just interested to see. McCarthy, another year at it. Got Zimmer on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So to see it all coalesce and gel and see how we sustain through the season, I'm just interested to see how it plays out. And I know a lot of the outside noise of, Cowboys and all of these, Super Bowl and the years we didn't make the play, all of that I'm not paying attention to. I'm paying attention to what I'm seeing and the pieces that we have in place. And also, the defending Super Bowl champs, like that system, we clearly, you have an idea of what it's going to take to take it that far.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When you take into account all of the teams that, the Ravens and all the teams that obviously Frisco that can have a shot at really taking a stab at it. I'm interested to see how we're going to attack this season.
Yeah. So what's your gut telling you about CD's contract?
I mean, a contract's a contract. I would love for CD to be back. I think it doesn't serve CD well to sit out of training camp because he's a rhythm receiver. He's not the type of receiver that is, big body where you can just throw him in and throw it up. He's a rhythm receiver. And this is where you start developing the rhythm is in training camp. So I don't, and again, this is just my opinion. I don't think that's going to work well for him, and he'll have some catching up to do. But if we look at history, in terms of how Jerry deals with these deals, eventually they get done. You know what I mean? The team goes on to have whatever season they're going to have, but the deals get done. I mean, when you look at a guy like Dak, it's like, I don't even think it's so much it's posturing or it's this or it's that. I just think a negotiation is happening, and because the stars on the side of the helmet, every step of the way of the negotiation gets, over amplified, if you will, and it gets made into a story when it's just like, I mean, negotiation is a back and forth. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I go high, you go low, and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
So, but I think, to me, the feeling is just like, there's a lot on the line. I mean, if you just look from the coaching contracts on down, there's a lot on the line, and we know that Jerry's always put the pieces on the table for us to have a shot at winning, and I don't think this season is any different.
Yeah. So was there anybody that caught your attention today at camp?
Caught my attention today in camp. I was looking at Cooks.
Yeah.
I just think another year in this system, he seemed more comfortable, and Dukes is in shape. And if you go back and look at the season, I think we need to get the ball to him more. I think that opens up a lot more opportunities for a CD.
Right.
Because it's that type of thing where, it's like when we were looking at Micah, on defense, they double teaming him, of course, because you're going to be getting double teamed the whole season.
Right.
So you got to practice like that. But I think Cooks could be, I think he can be an important piece of the offense this season.
Yeah.
How about you?
Man, I'm going to tell you, I was really impressed with Bell on the defensive end.
Yep.
He made a couple plays today. I was really impressed with Dak's ball placement.
Yeah.
Because he made a couple throws today. One didn't get caught, but it was, I'm telling you, that throw, I was like, wow. Everybody was like, wow.
Yeah.
So I even liked Zeke.
Yep.
He looked a little shifty out there.
Yep.
Diggs looked a little good in his backpedaling and breaking out the brakes. So it was a couple people that, of course the stars, Micah probably could have had 4 or 5 sacks if they was counting sacks.
Right.
That's why they started double teaming him. So, looking at the stars be the stars, but then, like you said, the Cooks looked pretty good. Tolbert had a couple catches. Jake Ferguson looked pretty good. And like I said, Bell on defense, and Mozzie.
Yeah.
You got to give Mozzie a shout out because everybody's always on him. But there was a couple times, especially after coaches told us what they were looking for, which made me then look for it, him filling that gap. He did that a couple times. So I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, but I think I'm like you. We take the season as it comes. We got all the tools. Now we just got to go out there and do it.
That's the whole thing. We got all the tools.
Yeah.
And listen, everybody want to talk about, well, why didn't they make this trade or pick up this free agent? It is what it is. You got a pot of money. You dish it out the way you see fit. And, we go out there and see what we could do. So I'm excited about this season.
Yeah.
I think if our interior on both sides of the ball has a consistent season, I like our chances.
Yeah.
And obviously, knock on wood, barring any major injuries or anything like that. But I think what we can't see, as long as the gel in that locker room is right, where these guys are believing in each other, pushing each other, challenging each other to be the best version of themselves, I like our chances.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you what really got me excited is when Micah said, basically, he a dog.
Yeah.
He going to get it. He don't care.
Yeah.
Man, listen, ratings, whatever. If he's Myles Garrett, Bosa, whatever, Micah told us today he's going to get it. And then when this year is over with, it's going to be clear he's the king. So that's going to have to rub off on everybody somehow. Maybe not directly, but indirectly. I think that's that mentality with him and Dak on the offensive side. I think we're going to have a good year.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a good year. So we appreciate everybody. First of all, before we go, I got to say thank you, brother.
Of course.
For doing this,
You
man.
already know.
My man, for real.
Yes, sir.
And another great episode of Candid Dialogue. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next go. We also want to thank the Dallas Cowboys for allowing us to do this.
Yes.
We got to thank my man Derek Eagleton. We got to thank Brittany Johnson for allowing us to do this. We really appreciate y'all inviting us out here and allowing Candid Dialogue to come out here and be a part of this wonderful training camp experience that we've had. So we appreciate you guys. Appreciate the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see you next time.